Hi, hey guys. We're back again to talk about whether or not Christians should be involved in politics. So today I wanted to hit on one common argument or one common conversation people have about this, which just involves this question, what would Jesus do? And so people will use this question and they'll be like, well, Jesus wasn't involved in politics and Jesus didn't vote and Jesus didn't pick a political party. And they kind of use this as a way to kind of argue themselves out of being involved in any way. But we have to understand that this question, what would Jesus do, should obviously be a limited question. It's valuable in terms of talking about what character traits we need, in terms of how we can respond in conversations in our culture, in terms of what our values are, how we spend our time. There's definitely value in asking, what would Jesus do, and learning from his life and his choices. But we also have to recognize that we are not called to be the savior of the world. Jesus came with a unique calling on his life because he is our salvation. We are not salvation. We are called to follow Jesus and to become like him, but not to actually be him, because God created us for a purpose as well. And this becomes obvious if we think of things like marriage, right? And we just ask, well, what would Jesus do? Like, do we think that because Jesus didn't get married, nobody's supposed to be married? Or if we think of things that have changed culturally about technology and what's going on now, we're like, well, Jesus didn't have any technology. Does that mean we can't use any technology? Right? And obviously we see, well, there are limits to the question, what would Jesus do? That's also true politically, right? Jesus didn't live in a democracy where he could go vote, right? That entire cultural context was just different. But we do see that Jesus did speak the truth and Jesus did confront cultural problems. He was never afraid to say what he knew was right. He would maybe wait for the right time or the right place, but he didn't back down. He didn't bow out of any arguments or any confrontations because he was like too afraid of offending someone or too afraid of somebody not liking what he said. He accepted the reality that not everyone could accept his words, and he actually acknowledged that very often. But the reality that people wouldn't believe him did not stop him from saying the truth. And that is what we can learn from the life of Christ, and that is what can compel us to speak the truth in whatever area of life we're talking about, and that includes the area of politics.